Welcome to Find Myself Free, the podcast. I'm Ellie Young, alcohol-free life coach, mom, and athlete. I'm dedicated to helping others change their relationship to alcohol by sharing my journey of transformation. Fascinated by my own capacity for change after decades of gray area drinking, I'm passionate about sharing what I've learned from neuroscience and positive psychology to help you break free from the drinking cycle and unlock your true potential. Hear my personal stories of triumph and struggle as I navigate raising two boys, finding myself after 40, building a business, and doing it all alcohol-free. From women's health and cycle syncing to fasting and biohacking, this podcast is your roadmap to a healthier, purpose-filled life that starts with changing your relationship to alcohol. It's time to embrace change, find balance, and create the life you were meant for. Welcome to Find Myself Free. This is Ellie Young. This is Find Myself Free, and welcome back to Dry January week 3. This week is all about leveling up your health. And I'm really excited for this part of the process because it's the absolute best. This is the best part. And I wanted to first preface this by saying, if you're not there yet, if you've been slipping up and having a couple drinks here and there, that is totally okay. Use this episode as just more motivation for what's to come and the potential of how you could possibly be feeling. Because this is hands down the best part of an alcohol-free life, is reaping these health benefits and truly watching your life in all areas level up. So I wanted to go over, first of all, just some of the health things that improve with 1 month of no drinking, just to get you really excited, because some of this stuff is harder to see. So I'm just going to let you know so that you can keep banking on that and keep motivating yourself to stay in the work. So gray matter increases in the brain. So you are going to see improved cognitive function. Blood pressure and cholesterol decrease, which leads to a healthier heart. You are going to see a decrease in liver fat and inflammation. Again, this is one of those ones that's harder to see, but it's going to aid in your ability to detox. So your liver is now actually, you're allowing it to do what it was intended to do, which is process all of the other toxins in our environment and from our food, instead of just process alcohol. Your insulin resistance decreases, so losing weight is easier. This is particularly important in your 40s when your hormonal changes are creating insulin resistance as well. So alcohol just complicates that. It exacerbates hormonal imbalances as you age. So this is a key one, and one that you're likely going to notice right away. Cancer markers decrease. Yes, please. Okay, so if you haven't listened to my episode on hormones and alcohol, please go back and listen to that one, because I cover in depth the cancer link between drinking and alcohol. And this is a game changer. It's definitely a key piece of information that I can't unknow, and contributes to me never, ever wanting to drink again. So know that just within a month, cancer markers are decreasing, and your immune system's ability to fight off things like this in your body, it will improve. Okay, another one of the favorites, reduced anxiety, stress, and depression. Hello, your baseline mood improves. Hands down, one of the most notable things about going alcohol free. It's incredible. And then another favorite, your sleep improves. Hopefully by now, your body is rebalancing and recalibrating, and you're starting to get incredible restorative sleep. And side note, everything improves when you're sleeping great. Everything. It's one of those things that's at the very tippity top of your health, kind of the effects of everything. When you're sleeping great, everything gets better. When you're sleeping badly, it affects everything. So on top of all of these physical benefits, there are the intangibles, like self-esteem, self-love, your self-worth, and integrity. I mean, this is huge. How much more do you like yourself now that you're not drinking? I know I really didn't like myself when I was drinking. That shame I felt in the morning, there was this disconnect all the time between who I deep down wanted to be, but the way I kept showing up, it didn't meet that. There was incongruence. I can't tell you how many times I cringed hearing stories about what I did. And it was always told in this really hilarious way, like, oh, da da da, you did this. Man. And it's I can't it's hard to even imagine now when I look back at it, like, who was that person? Who was in charge? Who was doing those things? Who was making those choices? Um, or if I saw pictures of myself, and again, it was so subconscious, but I knew that that didn't make me feel good. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror some mornings and right size that this was me living my best life. I was so conflicted. So going alcohol free, it allowed me to start liking myself again, to trust myself, to believe in myself, that the things that I valued in life were evident when you looked at me. I didn't look hungover like I was just getting by, faking it. I was thriving because I was actually taking care of myself. And you could see it. You could see it in my skin, my hair, my eyes, my body, the way I carried myself. I was able to look people in the eyes. I used to avoid at times looking people in the eyes sometimes when I'd be drinking because I just didn't want them to tell how buzzed I was, how much more I had had, how many drinks I had perhaps snuck or drank before I'd even started hanging out with them. I was like, I can carry myself. I'm good. No one can tell just how much I've drank, right? Ugh. So, anyways, getting back to like these health benefits, it's amazing to me the level of effort, time, and money we put into our health, especially this time of year, right? With the new year energy, new year vibe. I know friends that are spending an arm and a leg right now on detoxes, juice cleanses, wellness spas, you name it, when all we really need to do is cut alcohol. It's quite literally the best kept health secret. Imagine, I just named off all of those health benefits. Imagine if they were able to like create a pill that could do everything that I just mentioned. Everyone would want to take it, right? If it was that easy, hey, just take this pill and you'll get all this cascade of health benefits. Yet asking people to cut alcohol, this thing that is subconsciously tied to our comfort, our stress relief, our enjoyment, it's difficult for people to even imagine. And yet, paradoxically, all the things that alcohol promises to deliver are actually diminished while drinking. These are hard facts, and most people are still in the dark about them. But not you. You are special. You have woken up. You are aware, and you are putting your time and attention towards making a change. If you are halfway through your dry January, I just want to take a moment to celebrate you. Seriously, you are unique. You are different than the masses. You are done being a sheep. You've learned the science. You've now worked on your subconscious thoughts that have programmed you to crave booze, especially if you're in my dry January group and you're engaging with the daily content I'm sending out. You are now aware of how your brain tries to trick you into believing you need alcohol to whatever, fill in the blank, whatever that is for you. Pretty much everything in life. You need alcohol to do it, right? Tuning in to what you really need now. You're listening to that intuition that's saying, I am ready for a world that's bigger than alcohol. And you're starting to fundamentally change. I am so excited for you because this is the best part. Your life is no longer going to revolve around a drink. Even if after the end of this 30 days in dry January, you decide to go back, you can never forget the perspective that you have gained. And when I say your life is no longer going to revolve around a drink, a neurotoxin dressed up in a pretty bottle, it's because if you have truly gone 30 days without alcohol, you're expanding. What you want in life and your ability to do it is quite literally expanding. Alcohol shrinks your brain. Studies have shown that it actually shrinks brain volume and leads to cell death. And it's also been linked to like dementia and Alzheimer's disease. That runs in my family. So I'm definitely on high alert with that one. However, gray matter can start to regrow after only 2 weeks of abstinence, right about where you were at. This is January 17th. So if you've been in dry January and you've been holding on strong, your gray matter has started to regrow. Hallelujah, right? And furthermore, when you go 6 months to a year, your brain can regenerate to pre drinking levels. Your brain, your most precious gift, can regenerate after years of alcohol abuse. Wow. The resiliency of our human brains and body, it never ceases to amaze me. And to be honest, I could feel this. I always tell my clients something happens at 6 months alcohol free, you will feel it. A whole new layer of health benefits kick in. Your liver, another incredible organ that has the capacity to like regenerate, it continues to improve, and your brain also is continuing to improve. So you will feel this change and it will motivate you and it will inspire you. You will be like me. You will like want to share this to everybody because you are going to be living on a level that you haven't in a really, really long time. And you're going to want to motivate others to try it too. Okay. So, what will you do with all this brain growth? You've reset your pleasure circuits. You're feeling really good. You're listening now to the intuition that is calling you to a new experience in this world, an alcohol free experience. So, what will you do? I want you to be unapologetically bold in answering this question. Spend some time generating like a new bucket list, if you will. What are you interested in? What are you passionate about? What will you do with all the brain space and energy now? Get creative. You are no longer limited by the confines of alcohol that had you living small, not only in your brain chemistry and your ability to experience joy, but also in your choices. How many things did you miss out on because you were too hungover to go? Or like maybe experiences you didn't even flat out do because you wanted to drink instead and you didn't want to drive. I did this all the time. I wouldn't go someplace if I had to drive. How many vacations did you go on where you were simply waiting until the appropriate hour to add a cocktail to the mix to enhance the experience? This was me on literally every vacation I ever went on. So allow yourself to run wild with possibility right now. You just cut alcohol out of your life, something the majority of the population will never even consider. So you have this massive advantage now and this perspective of what life looked like while still drinking. Your vantage point now is so important. So pay attention to contrast. Your brain is no longer under the influence of a neurotoxin, and your whole system isn't wrapped up in processing a toxin. It can finally do what it's meant to do. So, I want to share with you some of the things that I did with my healed and hopeful brain and body over the course of the last 3 years. Now, I hope this inspires you. So, first, I was so overcome with the awe all around me. A lot of people call this the pink cloud effect or the rose-colored glasses, but it's a legit experience. And I started waking up earlier and earlier until I was witnessing the sunrise every morning on my walk with my dog. This was my meditation. This still is my meditation. Being out in nature in the quiet morning with no one else around and experiencing it with all five of my senses was something I was driven by in my early days. I was seeking it. I couldn't believe how alive I felt, and I craved more experiences in nature where I could soak this up. I was more present than I'd ever been. And everything I do now is about leaning into that. Everywhere I go, I look for hikes, views, trails, spaces in nature where I can take this in. It excites me. I'm no longer looking for a bigger reward, a glass of wine to make something more special. The experience now is it's like it's already maxed out for me. I read some amazing books about this that I highly, highly recommend. They stay with me. They're books I will always go back to. And one of them is called Awe, AWE by Dr. Keltner. I've mentioned it a few times. It's a beautiful book to listen to. And Whole Brain Living by Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, another one that really changed me and my understanding of what it meant to live in the present side of my brain because I was no longer ruminating, because I was no longer in recovery mode. I was so much more able to be in the moment and to experience things, to experience the wonder and awe of the world around me. It feels electric. It truly does. I also started strength training and exercising in a much more mindful way than ever before. I've always worked out, but I was always driven to do so by a different energy, a different motivation. It often came from fear that if I didn't, I would get fat, get out of shape for soccer, that I wouldn't sweat out the toxins of the night before. Now, I do it because I love the way my body feels when I'm doing it and the way I feel after. It's no longer coming from this corrective, borderline punishment type of place. It's coming from a place of gratitude for my body and its abilities. I've really softened to the way I work out. I'm listening to my body better and I'm not pushing it as much. It's less that I have to work out and more that I get to. And I really, truly embrace this. I've also continued to run with my girlfriends. Actually, this was early in my early days of sobriety. I have been nursing a foot injury for the past year and a half that has limited my ability to run. But during this initial year, um, I ran with my girlfriends. And the interesting part of this group is that there was 6 of us, and out of that, 4 are now alcohol free. It's pretty incredible. We all started at different times for totally different reasons. And one was like about a year before me. The other one was about a month before me. And then one who actually just now celebrated her 1 year alcohol free, which is simply amazing because she did it through the most difficult year of her entire life. I have no doubt that her cutting alcohol out was part of the catalyst for this massive change in her life, but it's also the thing that helped her survive it. So, having this group of women to share my experience with, it it's a huge reason why I was successful. I know how isolating it can feel at times if you're the only person you know taking on this type of change. So I encourage you to share with people. You never know who is also looking for that opening to change and having someone to do it with, someone to talk to. It's priceless. Um, I think we don't talk enough about the pressure one feels to drink is often this social pressure. Like, well, if everyone's drinking and I'm not, that'll feel weird. But if you can be the one to kind of initiate, like, I'm not doing this, and it might just encourage and tip the scales in the other direction, not just for your close friends. You wouldn't believe how contagious it is because no one's feeling good from alcohol these days. Everybody is questioning, like, gosh, why, I would love to take a break, but there just never seems to be the right opportunity or the right time. So you being that one little, nudge in that direction can change everything, not just for yourself, but for other people. Um, Another thing I encourage you to explore, and something that was huge for me, was my artistic side. I got really into tie dye, specifically this Japanese style called shibori that uses indigo tie and a variety of folding patterns to create like really, really beautiful prints. I went deep into this, and I even started a little business selling Turkish beach towels. So I found these Turkish beach towels for cheap on Amazon, and they were white. And then I hand dyed them. and I sold them. And I also sold like a variety of like sweatshirts, tank tops, baby clothes, you name it. Um, this opened up a lot of things for me. I ended up having a pop up shop with some other women makers, I call them. We all had some sort of thing that we make. There was a girl who made candles, there was a jewelry maker, there was someone who did hand embroidery on like custom embroidery onto like sweatshirts and things. And we had this awesome pop up shop right before Mother's Day. And it was also like Teacher Appreciation Week. And we made a killing. I made some decent money. I actually set up an Instagram account for my tie dye that I called Free with Me. And it was totally a play on how free it felt to be alcohol free. This was my outlet at the time. Um, and that word free, it was I was free of anxiety, I was free of guilt and shame, and I was free to start living my life in a whole new way. This was the genesis of my coaching business now. The name of it, Find Myself Free. I still actually have this Instagram account if you were interested in checking it out. I think it's free.with.me.100. And if you go way, way back to the beginning, you will see all my tie dye stuff. I still love it. It's all stored in my garage now, all of my dye and little tools I have for folding. And I'm sure at some point I'll get the fever again and want to do it again. I loved it. And it's thinking back to that time when I would tie dye like crazy, and I would listen to podcasts, and I would listen to Quit Lit, and it was definitely a part of my healing journey. And it led to my entrepreneurial side. It allowed me to tap into my artistic side and meet new people. So that's the kind of stuff that just opens up the world to you when you're alcohol free. You just follow it. You just follow that intuition. You don't necessarily have to know where this is all headed. You just have to have the courage to follow it all. I also started writing. I'm writing a book. I write every morning, and I love capturing how I'm feeling at this different stages. I wish I would have wrote more early on. If you were early on in your journey, I encourage you to capture as much of it as possible, because the contrast that you feel in the beginning of like how you used to be living your life and how you're living it now, that contrast can be so sharp and so powerful that it's it's a powerful reminder of just how far you've come and how much you don't want to go back to that. Um, so I enjoy the writing. It's an amazing way to clear your head in the morning, and you have no idea what will come out of you. You don't write with any intention. You just sit down and you just start writing, and the most incredible things come out. It's profound. I also started sharing my journey 1 year out of sobriety. It was March of 2021, and I started sharing, and that honestly led to where I am today. Um, Becoming a coach, having a business, having a podcast. It's crazy. Um, I also got into biohacking. So I've always been interested in health, but now I really started taking it to the next level. I bought a cold plunge. It's amazing how much money you will save when you're not drinking and going out to eat, and half your bill is alcohol. And so I put that on if an Affirm credit card, and so there was no interest, and it's just a monthly payment. So I have now paid off my cold plunge, and I also bought an infrared sauna. So, yeah, I have a wellness studio at my house, and it's incredible. I do it daily, and I could have never imagined. It sounds so bougie of me to have these things, but honestly, the money I'm saving not drinking, the money I'm bringing in as a coach, it allowed me to afford these things. And I put it on an Affirm credit card. I make my monthly payment. There's no interest, and I'll pay off my sauna in the next 6 months here, which is awesome. And then I get to have it for life. I get to have daily wellness for life based on that investment. I also took a 6-month coaching course back in November of 2022. I was certified in April of 2023. So I launched my coaching business. In May, I read Fast Like a Girl and In the Flow. These two books changed me. It's another new passion of mine. So I started fasting according to my cycle, and I started cycle syncing. And this is something I now offer in my upper levels of my coaching so that once alcohol is out of the way, we can tackle your hormonal health and perimenopause. We can get into leveling up your health in biohacking ways. These are things that, again, that were interests of mine, passions of mine, and I just kept going further into them. And now I've made a business out of it. And um, again, this is just the kind of stuff that can happen when you continue to remove alcohol from your life, listen to your intuition, and follow it. In August, I went on a coaches retreat this year with other alcohol-free life coaches, and it was incredibly powerful and transformative. It allowed me to kickstart my course, my first alcohol-free coaching course in September. And then in October, I launched my podcast, which is what you're listening to now. So how did my drinking lifestyle, I mean, I was a huge party girl, turn into sobriety, turn into a coaching business, turn into a podcast? I honestly have no idea. I just followed my gut, my intuition, my passion, and my purpose, and I kept going. You could not have convinced me 3 years ago that this is where I'd end up. I mean, if I could chart my growth over the last 20 years, it would really look like a flat line, pretty stagnant, and then massive, rapid growth in the last 3 years, all from simply removing alcohol. So I want you to get in touch with your intuition. You may not know what it is calling you to, but exploring things, living outside of the bottle, and opening yourself up to new experiences is where it all starts. It is literally never too late to change your life. And you're already on your way because it starts with removing alcohol. It's at the top, and then everything else can change. And you can start growing again and truly living. Life was not meant to be experienced through the lens of a neurotoxin. You were meant for more. I would love to hear from you and where you are at in your journey. So if you are listening and you want to share your story with me, reach out to me at findmyselffree.com, or you can set up a call if you're interested in going deeper with one-on-one coaching. My time with the coach during the first 4 months of my journey were totally life-changing. I mean, I don't know if I'd be here without it. When I look back now, it all makes sense. I realize how much I put into it, that the hiring of the coach, it was me taking myself seriously and wanting it more than I feared it. Everything was already inside me, but the significance of hiring the coach and setting aside time each week to intentionally work on it was a game changer, so that I didn't just fall back into my own pattern, so that I continued to do the thought work, so that I continued to challenge these old beliefs, these old notions about my relationship to alcohol. So if you're ready for that, let's talk. Let's see if we're a good fit. There's absolutely no obligation or strings attached, just a chance to connect and take it to the next level. Because I am so excited for you. If you are in it, if this is your third week of dry January and you have that momentum, keep following it. It's only going to get better. Your health is only going to continue to level up, and it's contagious. The people around you are going to notice. Your family's going to notice. And I want you to just continue to lean into that. It's a beautiful thing you're doing here, and I'm so proud of you. So thank you, as always, for being here. And I am with you. You got this. Hey, team. You've just listened to an episode of Find Myself Free. And if some part of this left you wanting more, if your curiosity has been piqued and your intuition is telling you, I'm ready for more, I'm ready to look at my relationship to alcohol and find out just how much it's holding me back, then check out my coaching offers at findmyselffree.com. For those ready to kickstart a change privately on their own time, I offer the Brave course, a 7-day program to shift your mindset around alcohol and connect with your future self. This is chock full of all of the information that was key to my transformation. If you're looking for additional support, I also offer one-on-one coaching. I worked with a coach for 4 months at the start of my alcohol-free journey, and it made all the difference. Being able to talk to someone who knew what I was going through and could help me navigate my new world gave me a foundation of support I could build on. And it's a big reason why I'm a coach today. I want to help others find their freedom and level up their health. If this sounds good to you, then connect with me at findmyselffree.com. Listen to that intuition that was telling you you are meant for more. I'm with you. You got this.